Hi everyone, Nathan here from NGR Accounting. Today we're talking about the New South Wales COVID business grants, and in particular, working out if you're still eligible to continue receiving your COVID-19 grants. We're going to focus on two grants for business, the micro business grant and the Job Saver grant. So if you're ready, I'm ready, let's get educated and work out what you need to do to continue getting your grants. Now, you may have heard in the last week or so, the last couple of weeks, that you've got to reapply for your business grant. And the reality was, when we first got told about this, that the grant was going to continue until, I guess, we opened back up and, there was no more shutdown of businesses and what have you. And I think the reality was when the New South Wales government released these grants, I don't think they realised that, we would be still in lockdown in another season. So don't forget, lockdown started at pretty much what was maybe a few weeks into winter, and now we're in spring. So I guess the thing is, you're probably sort of saying, well, what's next? What do I do? And you're probably confused and going, why? Why is this? I'm already, down in turnover. I don't need this extra stress. So really today's video is about helping you understand what you need to do, why you need to do it, and how we can continue surviving by getting these grants. So this is a good part of the video just to quickly say, hey, if you love what we're doing here and you like our videos, we want to ask you a big favor. Press that subscribe button right there, right now. And do another big favor for us. If you can share this video with friends or family, if you know someone who's, struggling in business and they're confused and they're asking the what and why, please share this video with them. We want to help you out. And this is the best way we can do it at a low cost and also getting information out to the business community to help you guys continue doing what you can once we come out of lockdown. So let's get into the guts of today's video. So let's look at some background information. The rules for testing your eligibility are pretty much the same, whether it's the Job Saver grant or the micro business grant. And I guess what we're looking at is that, for some industries and regions, they're emerging and starting to come out of restrictions. And as the vaccine comes, increases and goes higher, and we've got more people vaccinated, things are going to start to open up. And I guess what has happened is New South Wales government has seen that for some businesses, they were still getting the grants and they were still getting also, I guess, things had improved for businesses, for some businesses out there, and they were still getting the grants. So I guess in all fairness with the government, they can't just keep handing out cash because otherwise it's going to be our kids, your kids, their kids who are going to be paying all this money off these grants for the next few years. So, okay, if you want more information, we're going to quickly share here in the middle of the page the links where you can go on the Service New South Wales website. And I just got to say, these weren't easier to find. So I suggest that, note them down. We'll put them in the bio there so you can have a look at it. We'll quickly in a second jump over and have a look at it on the actual website as well, so I can run you through and see and introduce you or show you what it is you need to look at. So, additional background information. Fortnightly reconfirmation is going to start happening. And what you need to do is there's two things that you need to really confirm. You need to confirm that you're still 30% down in turnover. The second thing you're going to have to confirm is that your employee headcount is still the same. And when we talk about that employee headcount, if you've had an employee resign, essentially it doesn't affect the headcount. But if you had made an employee terminated for whatever reason, it could be that also that your headcount is no longer the same, which would make you ineligible to continue receiving the government grant. The fortnights that we were initially looking at till the end of to the 12th of September 2021, and then the 26th of September 2021. But we're going to go into that a little bit later on. For now, let's just quickly jump over to the Service New South Wales websites and have a look at what you need to see before you go and apply these tests to make sure that to continue letting Service New South Wales know that you're eligible. Okay, so we're just over here on the Service New South Wales website, and this is for the Job Saver Eligibility. And you'll see here a bit of an introduction about what's happening here, the eligibility criteria, how to confirm, choosing a comparison period, and more importantly, a few common questions. This is a really good link to have a look at, and it provides some examples, and then some other links here that you might find of some sort of interest or use. Now, when it comes to confirm, you're going to be clicking this link here, or you probably find as well that you'll get an email from Service New South Wales asking you to confirm your eligibility. And you'll see here, this is the micro business grant. If you actually go through the website and compare the two, if you so want to, or you're a little bit bored, you'll notice that this is the exact same. And it's almost like, I guess really the whole time, the eligibility and the criteria is pretty much the same. But there was, I guess, the surface of it was different based on business type or business size. But essentially, it's like for what we're talking about here today, it's like Service New South Wales has copied and pasted the same information on each one of these pages. Okay, let's get back into the slideshow and continue having a look at what you need to know. Okay, guys, so what else do you need to know? So let's continue talking about reconfirming your eligibility. Well, one thing you're probably asking is, can I delay that reconfirmation? And the short answer is yes. And Service New South Wales has basically said you can do this for a multiple of reasons. But this could be, for example, that you might not have reconciled your Xero file or your accounting file, whatever software you're using to work out your records. So the good news is, look, you don't have to report as soon as the fortnight is over, but the reality is that you won't get any payments until you confirm whether you're eligible or not. If you're not, you're not going to get the payment, right? But you're not going to get any payments until you confirm you're eligible. The good news as well is, if, say, for example, you're really behind in your accounts, it's obviously something I don't recommend. I recommend that, you should be going into your accounting file and you should be reconciling, at least 2 or 3 times a week. But if you are, a few fortnights behind, you can reconfirm multiple fortnights all in one go. I don't know, and it doesn't say on the website whether there is a deadline from when you need to do all these by, but I would suggest that as soon as you can, you should go and confirm your eligibility. Businesses who are still impacted, well, what do they need to do? It doesn't say this on the Service New South Wales website, but I can assure you that if you get an audit, they're going to want to know and have evidence that you were eligible to continue receiving the grant. So what I suggest you do is get that evidence and save that evidence on your laptop, your computer, whatever it is, but you want to keep this evidence handy somewhere for future reference. First thing I'd be doing is I'd be looking at the records that you had from when you first applied for the grant and see how many staff members that you had. So remember, one of the criteria was that you could stand down staff members, but you had to basically keep the staff members you had at the period, I think it was the 13th of June, 2021. So you want to basically confirm from then to now that you still have the same number of employees. That headcount is still the same. And if it is different, why is it different? What's happened? Did an employee, resign? And you want to have you want to have as part of your evidence in your documents that resignation from an employee. So if an employee decides, well, hey, I don't want to work with you anymore, I want to leave, blah, blah, that is fine. But, you want to have that in writing. You want the employee to actually communicate that to you via email, or whether it's a printed letter that they've signed, but you want to have that evidence to say that they have resigned. The other information you're going to need to have on file is your accounting records. So reports showing your turnover reduction percentage. And of course, going back to what I was saying before, you need to have your accounting file reconciled. So your accounts will be reconciled. You need to be able to do that so you can confirm where your sales are. And especially if you're reporting on a cash basis for your for the reporting. So the last point that I want to point here to talk about here is who reconfirms all this information. Well, it's most likely yourself. If you went and did the application to apply for the grant, it's going to be you who goes and confirms, your eligibility. If you had a tax agent or a BAS agent or an accountant apply for you on your behalf, well, they'll do this for you. They'll go and confirm your eligibility. I want to quickly just jump over to Xero, and I want to show you very quickly how you can access a report to see whether you are eligible or not. Okay, so here we are. We're just over on the Xero website. And as you can see here, we're looking at the dashboard of Xero, and this is a demo file. So to have a look very quickly, if you go to Xero file, you want to make sure that all your accounts here are reconciled. So this means it's reconciled. Here it's got a nice green tick to say it's reconciled. You can see here, this is not reconciled. So you want to make sure that all those accounts there, especially the sales. So sales is probably the ones that you want to focus in on, the credits. Make sure that's got a green tick there, or that all your credits have been reconciled. Then you can come along and you can find by going to reports and then clicking into COVID-19 business support under tax. Continue on to the COVID-19 business support. And here you can have a look at the impacted period that you initially used. We're going to talk about this in a second. And then the period you're comparing to. So the comparing period to is going to be, say, the fortnight that has just ended that you're looking at. When you put these numbers in, you also want to put down, I guess, whatever method you used before, cash or accruals. You can see it's got accruals and cash. And then you can run this report, right? And it'll come up with an automatically with a percentage of where you're at. The other thing as well is when you've done this report, I suggest that you export this to PDF and you save it as a file to prove that evidence. Remember that evidence we were just talking about before? This is another lot of evidence that you might want to look at. Okay, let's jump back over to the slideshow. Okay, so here is the eligibility table. And this is a table I've put together based on the eligibility criteria on the ServiceNSW website. As you can see here, we have a few different columns here at the top. The first one I want you to concentrate on is the comparison period. So if you have a look at this, we've got essentially 3 comparison periods. We have the initial comparison period in 2019, and then 2020, and then the fixed period of 12th of June to the 25th of June, 2021. So these are periods that you may have confirmed your eligibility for the Job Saver grant or the micro business grant. So I guess maybe you might have said, let's test a period in maybe August to the same period of August. So a period of August in 2021 to the same period of August in 2019. Okay, so 2 years back. So what you're going to do here to work out whether you're eligible, say for example, on the 12th of September fortnight, is you're going to do one or two options. You can test against the fortnight ending the 12th of September 2021 and compare that and test that against the end of the 12th of September 2019. So basically compare that fortnight ending in 12th of September 2021 to 2 years prior. Okay, so the exact same dates. Or what you can do is you can look at the fortnight ending in 12th of September 2021, and then you can test against the initial comparison period that you initially did your comparison testing on. So whatever those dates are that you initially set when you applied for your grant is the dates that you could use. And that's pretty much the same for the 2019-2020. Unfortunately, if you use the fixed period 12th of June, 25th of June to 2021, you need to test your fortnight ending 12th of September 2021 to the exact same fixed period that you originally tested, being the 12th of June till the 25th of June 2021. Now, the thing that you need to be aware of as well is that in future fortnights, the test that you originally used when you started comparing whether you were eligible or not is the same testing period you're going to use going forward. So if in the fortnight ending the 12th of September 2021, you had used the period that was exactly 2 years back from that fortnight, well, that is going to be the same testing option that you use going forward. So you would compare if you were looking at the 2020 year, that was your initial comparison period, you would look at the 26th of September 2021, that fortnight ending there, and you would compare the 26th of September 2020. Okay? If you had tested against the initial comparison, you're going to look at that the turnover you have in the 26th of September 2021, that fortnight, and you're going to compare it back to that original testing comparison that you used when you applied for the grant. And obviously, same goes on each quarter. Now, the only thing I probably would say here is that on ServiceNSW's website, they've basically said that they're going to sort of let you go if you hadn't applied for any testing in September. So it might be the first test that you do may be the 10th of October 2021, which may be the period where you've setting that initial testing comparison that you're going to use going forward to test against each fortnight. So if you apply the same, I guess what I was saying here in start of September to October, it should be the same. Okay, so there's probably a lot of questions that you might have. If you're still confused and you're still not sure, probably two things I suggest you do. Have a look at the ServiceNSW's website links that we have in the bio, or reach out to an accountant like ourselves, and we're happy to help you out where we can. Okay, guys, well, that's the end of today's video. And I want to thank you for watching and being patient through this whole process of going through what is a difficult subject to talk about. We do welcome you now to subscribe to our channel, and please share this information with your friends and family, and especially anyone who's in need of information to help them get through this hard period, working out whether they are eligible or not for the ongoing business grants. Well, guys, thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.